Hi guys, and welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Baltany S205054 Chronograph. I received this watch for free. I don't have to send the watch back, but you guys know the deal by now. You're always going to get my honest review on this channel. And if by the end of this review you want to pick one of these up, I'm going to leave an affiliate link down in the video description. So go down there and check out that affiliate link. You guys don't pay any extra. I just get a little bit of commission, and that helps keep the channel running. So thank you guys so much for the continued support. The retail price for this watch is $149 US. That's before any taxes, sales, coupons, VAT, etc. And the Baltany official store, they do participate in the sales, so this one should be on sale in just a little bit for the 11/11 sale. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel, has a sapphire crystal, a screw-down crown, screw-down case back, 50 meters of claimed water resistance, and the watch is powered by the Miyota 6S21 quartz movement. So Baltany recently, this year, they've probably released 5 or 6 of these kind of retro, vintage, or military-inspired chronographs, and they've all been excellent. They've all been very simple, though, and kind of the same recipe. This one, they're switching it up just a little bit, so I'm going to show you guys what they've changed and what I think about the changes. And yeah, I say we get right into this full review, but before we do a quick wrist check for the day. Wearing my Laurier Hyperion GMT, absolutely loves this watch still, and yeah, I've just been wearing the heck out of it. Alright, so let's get into the dimensions. Got a diameter of 39.7 millimeters, case thickness of 12.6 millimeters, 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip to lug tip of 46.7 millimeters, and on the supplied leather strap, it weighs 73 grams. All right, so the case size on this thing I think is excellent. Really happy with the case size on it. These 39 millimeter chronographs, they wear really well in my opinion. And Baltany always does a pretty good job with their case curvature. So you can see here, you got a nice turn down to the lugs, pretty thin mid case there as well. Yeah, I'm very satisfied with this. Early on, this was listed as I think like 11.1 or 11.3 millimeters thick. It's definitely not that. I've let them know. They said that they're going to update their listing. Yeah, pretty disappointed that it's really not 11.3 millimeters thick. That would have been amazing, but I still think this thing wears excellent. So I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and as you can see, it fits me just fine. I've got no complaints with the way this thing wears. Baltany usually does a pretty good job with their cases, and you can see here, it's really no exception. There's a nice curve down to the lugs there, and nice finishing. You got little polished bits here and there. The crystals are excellent. This one is just a little bit more reflective, but that's mostly because of the dial. The crystal is still very good. But let's get this on some more straps. We'll get it out in the sun and you can see it a little bit better. Here we are on a suede strap. Link will be down in the video description. This is a camel colorway. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to mention it a couple times because I know people kind of jump around in my reviews. The lug hole placement makes this a little bit of a tight fit for straps. So you can see here, the strap is contacting the watch case there. So just keep that in mind. If you have a thicker strap, it's probably not going to fit on this thing. And I know my pass-through straps, they were a little bit of a tight fit as well. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Just a little bit of a negative on this watch, but I do think that looks pretty good. And there you can get a nice view of that dial color. It's kind of a weird brownish, almost a cherry brown color. So yeah, looks pretty good though. I kind of like it. And here we are on a leather pass-through strap. That's 2 layers underneath the watch there. And again, I'm going to say it was a really tight fit. I couldn't slip it through. I had to actually place the watch on the strap and then put the spring bars in. So just something to keep in mind, but I do think that actually looks really good. All right, let's go back inside and let's get back to this review. All right, so let's talk about the case finishing. So the case finishing is a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces. It's a little bit of a departure for Baltany. Usually they stick with one or the other. They don't really mix finishings too much, but this one is done really nicely. I'm going to show you here. You have a vertical brushing on the top of the lugs there. Really nicely done, nice and linear. You have brushing on the ends of the lugs there, brushing on the sides of the case, and again, really nicely done, very consistent, no issues with it at all. This is where they kind of switch things up a little bit. Normally they don't put these little chamfers on. I love the chamfers, and I think they did a very nice job with it. You can see here getting real nice and close. You can see those transitions in the chamfers. They're really nice and sharp. I mean, that's, you know, San Martin level. I think it looks excellent. They're kind of flexing their case finishing muscles, so to speak, and I think they did a very good job. You have an unsigned screw down crown here. Really nice size on that. Really shallow, which I like, but nice and big and grippy. Simple brushed pushers. No issues with those. So flipping it over to the case back here, you kind of have this, it's almost like an Omega style case back. You don't have notches in it. You don't have a coin edge. You have this 12-sided design in it. I think it looks good. It feels good. I would rather have just typical notches to get a tool in there, but that's just me. Then it does say Baltany Type 20 made in 2023. So that's kind of interesting. So this is an homage to the Type 20 chronographs. I think it looks really good. I think the case finishing on this is very nice, and it's good to see something different from Baltany a little bit with these polished chamfers. It shows that they can do it really, really nicely. So I'm very satisfied with the case finishing on this. So let's talk about the bezel on this. So if you guys notice, there's this little red triangle here. And so this is another timing function, right? So this is a bidirectional bezel, and it's non-clicking, so it's just a smooth rotation. The resistance is just about perfect in my opinion. You got plenty of grip on it as well. It's a fully polished coin edge kind of bezel. You can see there, it just looks very, very nice. They did an excellent job on it. I've got no complaints with that at all. That little red triangle, I do wish it was a little bit bigger. It does kind of get lost a little bit, but yeah, so you just rotate it around to the minute hand there, and it kind of works kind of like a dive time bezel. It just marks where the minute hand was. You can see how much time has elapsed, and that's it. At least I think that's the purpose of it. If someone correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I am pretty satisfied with the bezel on this thing. Again, something new from Baltany, a bidirectional smooth bezel on a chronograph watch. Interesting. I like it. I think they did a pretty good job with it. All right, so let's talk about the crystal on it. First things first, we will test it for sapphire. It is positive for sapphire. And again, from Baltany, it is a very nice sapphire crystal. Double domed, box dome, whatever you want to call it. It's excellent. Again, no issues with it at all. Really tight curvature on the end there, so there's not a whole lot of distortion on the edges, which is good. But yeah, I think it looks very good. There's plenty of anti-reflective coating on it. You can see here, it is a very reflective dial. But yeah, I think the crystal itself is really, really good on this thing, as usual from Baltany. They put out some of the best crystals in the Chinese watch game. Best crystals I've come across, period. All right, so let's talk about the dial on this thing. And the dial, like I mentioned, it is a glossy dial. As you can see right there, the reflection of that second hand. That's usually how I can tell pretty good, especially in pictures. You know, I figured this was a matte brown dial. So when I got it and it's glossy, I was a little bit let down. I do think the black dial is a matte finish. If you look at the pictures, I can't see the reflection like I can on the pictures of the brown one. So yeah, that's just something to note. I do wish this was a matte dial. I think it would make it a little bit better. The decision to go glossy was an odd one in my opinion. Other than that, it's a pretty typical dial layout for something like this. You have your minute track around the outside, and it's kind of split up into sub-seconds. You have your 1 through 12 Arabics around the inside there. Those are loomed. You have it cut off the 3 and the 9 o'clock for the subdials there. Subdials are sunken and recessed slightly there, as you can see. And there is like a little concentric circle pattern there. Everything is done nicely. It's all printed very nicely. It's kind of got this goldish print to it, and it isn't just a flat gold. It does kind of pick up the light at certain angles. So it's almost like a foil printed one. I don't think it is, but just the way that it acts a little bit, it does catch the light a little bit better than just say a flat printed color. So I do like the printing on it. I think the color scheme in general looks pretty good. I just wish it was all matte. You can see here the sub-second hand and the minute chronograph hand, as well as the tip of the chronograph second hand. Those are all loomed with BGW9. So it's nice to see that they did loom those. They did use a different color loom, which is a little odd, but I don't think it looks bad at all. So you'll see that here in the loom shot in just a little bit. But otherwise, I think the handset that they used, really nice syringe tipped hand, and they are very slightly bent down. You can see there on the tip of the minute hand there, it is very slightly bent down. Same with the seconds hand, you can see there. And that's just something either to get it to clear the crystal or just to make it a little bit more legible. So really nice attention to detail. I think the handset is excellent. It's perfect size, perfect length. It's all finished very, very well. And I'm just happy with the dial on this thing. I really wish it was kind of like maybe like a speckled brown. I think it would look a little bit better than this. If I was going to make a suggestion, I would go with the black dial personally. That's just me. As it is, it's kind of this weird reddish brownish color. I had it sitting on my cherry wood dresser the other day, and I noticed that it was pretty close to that color. So if you have like a dark cherry wood sitting around. It's kind of like that color, brownish with a little bit of hint of red to it. So really interesting. The lume on this watch, I'm going to pop up a lume shot here. You can see it is not a great lume, which I'm not surprised. It's a printed dial with that faux patina. It's usually not going to last well, but you can see it here against a couple other watches in the collection, just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. It's decent lume for a chronograph. It's just not great. You're not going to be able to rely on this all night long. All right, so let's talk about the movement in this thing. So the movement is a new one for Baltany, I think. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've seen them use this one before. So it is the Miyota 6S21. It's a quartz movement. It does have a sweeping chronograph second hand, which we'll show you in just a second. It is a date movement, so there's a ghost date position back there, and I can hear it moving and clicking around, so they didn't remove it or anything like that. But other than that, it's a great movement. 3 years of battery life, and this is going head-to-head with the Seiko VK movements, and I kind of like this one better. I'm going to show you why here in just a second. So first things first, let's talk about the crown here. Screw in, screw out action is just buttery smooth on this. Really happy with that. Nice, satisfying pop out. First position, like I mentioned, it is a ghost date position. I can hear it and feel it back there. Second position is your time setting position. It does hack the movement, as you can see there. Pushing in the crown doesn't jump the hands or anything like that. I am pretty satisfied with that. We're going to leave that undone. To start the chronograph hand, you click that top button. It is a nice snappy click. You can see it there sweeping along. I believe it's 4 ticks per second. So I think the Seiko VK one is 5 ticks per second. So this one is 4, so a little bit less, but still a nice sweeping quartz movement, which I'm happy with. Pressing that in again, you get a nice snappy feedback. Pretty happy with that. And then resetting the chrono right here, you'll see this hand, the chrono second hand, will sweep all the way around to the 12 o'clock position. This hand down here will just snap right back to the 00. Obviously, I didn't have this running, but so that's what it looks like. Really interesting. The nice thing about these movements, unlike the Seiko ones, you can actually adjust this hand. So each click moves it 1/4 of a second. So that's really kind of cool. If you press and hold this one, I believe it should start sweeping around. There you go. So you shouldn't have any issue getting the second hand aligned on this thing. Really quite satisfied with this. It's very cool. And it's a nice feature to have that the Seiko doesn't have. So the other feature that this has that a Seiko doesn't have that I know a lot of you guys complain about is the running seconds hand. So this one does have a constantly running second hand right there. Instead of that useless 24-hour dial. Really happy to see that. And I will mention this minute chronograph hand here. It does just, it gradually goes around, so it doesn't snap to the next minute like some of the mechanical chronographs do. Not a big deal, just thought I would mention it. But overall, I am pretty satisfied with the movement, plus or minus 20 seconds per month. And yeah, 3 years of battery life, you guys are going to be very happy with it. And I like the kind of extra functions that it has over the Seiko movement. So let's talk about the strap on this thing. I'm not going to spend too much time. It's the same Baltany strap that we've had from plenty of other watches. 20 millimeters, tapers down to 18 millimeters at the clasp. It's a good length. I'm kind of right here for my 7.5 inch wrist. It's got some clean stitching, as you can see here. Pretty nicely done. The buckle on this one, it is branded. Usually they don't brand the buckle, so really happy to see that this one is branded. Fully brushed buckle. Yeah, it's a nice buckle. You got one floating keeper and one stationary keeper. Baltany branded on the bottom here. Genuine leather, no quick release, which is my big gripe with these watches, or with these straps. You know, it's a fine strap. I think the black strap is a little bit softer than the brown strap is. It's not a bad strap. You're not going to want to throw this one away. It's usable. It's just not as nice as the watch head deserves, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a fine strap. It's just nothing great. So there you go, guys. That is the Type 20 homage from Baltany. I think it's a really cool watch. I do wish they would have gone with a different finish on the brown dial. It just looks a little bit too fancy for, you know, what it's kind of going after. I think it needs to have like if it had like a brown fume dial, I think that would look amazing in this watch. But as it is, it's still a really nice watch, and I think the black dial will fix most of my problems with it. Yeah, it's a really cool watch though, guys. Excellent crystal as always, bi-directional, smooth bezel from them. Looks really good. Flexing their muscles a little bit when it comes to case finishing, as you can see there. Really happy with the watch, and I do like the new Miyota movement. I just like the advantages of it over the Seiko VK movement. I think the pushers are just as nice when it comes to the feedback. It's got the nice sweep. You can adjust that chrono seconds hand. So yeah, I think it's excellent. Very happy with that movement. Very happy with the watch in general. I think you guys will be too. So keep an eye on it for the 11/11 sale. I think that's it for me, guys. If you've made it this far, please, subscribe. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Thank you guys so much. We're running up on 12,000 subscribers. Just kind of crazy. I believe this is my third 11/11 sale. So, it's just kind of nuts. But thank you guys so much for the continued support. I think that's it for me. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.